If a man is nicknamed Killer, is it any wonder that our story involves 4 dead and 2 injured? What caused the fight? Greed. And that is how we end November 1926 on Decades of History. Welcome to Decades of History, where we cover safecrackers and bank heists from 1926 up until U.S. involvement in World War II. The November 1st, 1926 Evening Star brings us a violent story that is a bit convoluted and complex in a who's who 6 degrees separation kind of way. Incidentally, it actually could be a follow-up from an October 1926 quick hitter video story that we covered. So technically this could be a follow-up instead of a main story, except there's missing evidence. That's what I mean by convoluted and complex. All right. The story is titled 4 Killed in Gunmen's Feud. And this violent bacchanal takes place in Detroit, Michigan. It seems that the New York, New Jersey criminal James Killer Cunniffe and his paramour, remember paramour is a term for girlfriend, but it seems to have it seems to be a little pejorative and have a little bit more meaning than just your average girl next door. Anyway, his paramour were gunned down by pal William Olson in a dispute over, you guessed it, loot. So here is how it happened. Officers Ernest Jones and patrolman Ephraim Rancour were called to an apartment house to investigate a shooting. They confronted a William Olson and a gunfight ensued, during which Olson killed Officer Jones. Jones, or Rancour, killed Olson. Patrolman Rancour was hit, as well as a bystander named Ernest Burns, who was hit by a stray bullet. So Rancour survived. He went inside the apartment where he found Killer Cunniffe's and his female friend's bodies and approximately $10,000 scattered around the apartment. So this leaves us with 4 dead. Killer Cunniffe, his lady friend, Officer Jones, and the bad guy Olson, along with 2 injured. Ernest Jones will be added to the Memorial Honor Roll list and will be noted in the video coming out in December for all the innocents who were killed or injured during the commission of a bank heist or bank heist related crime during 1926. So who was James Killer Cunniffe? He was a person who was wanted in connection with at least a half dozen major crimes in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area. He and his paramour, along with Olson, were thought to be, at the time when they were discovered, were thought to be holed up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which was the site of a then very, very fresh and recent bank heist. Instead, they'd somehow hightailed it out of there, arriving in Detroit, Michigan a few days after the Elizabeth, New Jersey bank heist. Cunniffe was accused of being one of 2 men who'd shot and killed a Frank E. Kearney and his son Robert Kearney on October 4th in New Brunswick, New Jersey, during the planning stages for a mail shipment robbery. Cunniffe was wanted for the murder also of an Ernest L. Whitman, who was a bond salesman who'd been killed during a bank heist that really wasn't spelled out in the article. It took place in Belmore, New York, back in April of 1924. A John Enz, that's E-N-Z, a mail truck driver, met his end, also courtesy of Killer Cunniffe. It appeared during a $150,000 robbery that took place again in Elizabeth, New Jersey. In fact, After this enormous mail heist, the Postmaster General, Harry S. New, ordered the USMC, the United States Marine Corps, to guard area mail services. So what is this murderer's connection to our study of bank robbers? Shortly after their escape from New Jersey and their arrival in Detroit, a series of bank heists took place. We noted in the October 1926 Quick Hitters video of what we call a tour de force of Midwest heists. 3 of those stories occurred in Detroit. One Detroit bank was hit twice within 2 weeks, and Cunniffe and Olson, quote, answered the description of the men who participated in these robberies, end quote. Police were trying to identify Olson, who was believed to have been a member of the, quote, notorious Bum Rodgers gang, end quote, with which Cunniffe was also associated, for grammatical English. The New Britain Herald took a crack at the same story under the title Jersey Mail Yegg, Y-E-G-G. We've spelled out that term before. A yegg traditionally at the time was a safecracker, but clearly it was expanded to mean bank robbers, jewelry thieves, safecrackers, and possibly more. So Jersey Mail Yegg killed by partner, and they subtitled it 3 dead, 2 wounded as police arrive. Though an Associated Press story, this rendition referred to Cunniffe as Jimmy Cunniffe and claimed that he was a, quote, notorious Eastern killer bandit, end quote. They summarized the story noting that it was a, quote, savage brawl, and that it resulted in 3 others dead and 2 others wounded, which aligns with what we've already noted above. They stated that the gentleman injured by the stray was actually a Darrell Burns, spelled D-A-R-L, not Ernest Burns. My guess is Darrell is correct, and the author who'd written the first story for the Evening Star had Ernest on his mind, since Officer Ernest Jones was involved in the story and had been killed. Not fearing gruesome details, they noted that Cunniffe and Cunniffe's girlfriend were each struck by 6 shots. I'm not sure how they know this, but allegedly Olson had, quote, emptied his gun at Cunniffe, end quote, and reloaded before killing her. Apparently that was when the money was scattered around the apartment, and a table upon which a champagne supper sat was overturned and spilled. An important fact that the New Britain Herald added was that Olson did not meet the description of a member of the Bum Rodgers gang, though they were convinced that Olson had been involved in numerous other crimes perpetrated by Killer Cunniffe. Links are added in the description on Cunniffe. There's a New York Times article on the story that does require a subscription, and there's a cool article on the Irish mob spanning the 1880s to the 1920s, including a photograph and information about Bum Rodgers and some additional information on Killer Cunniffe. I've said it before, but I can glamorize and romanticize the bank robbers of the Roaring Twenties with their dashing styles, the slang and one-liners that are attributed to them, their gangster mannerisms. But criminals like Killer Cunniffe leave a bad taste. Thankfully, that puts November 1926 to rest. On to a busy December 1926. During December, there will also be special videos for the 1926 Year in Review and the 1926 Memorial Honor Roll video. For now, I want to thank you for spending your time with Decades of History. Until next time.
Where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, and so is she. Bye.